Jake, I hear everybody talk about how good Conference USA was this year, and I know FAU smoked UAB to win the tournament, but San Diego State plays in the Mountain West, and they had to beat Utah State to earn the 5 seed, and then they had to beat Alabama and Creighton to get here. Both of these teams had to pull off some big upsets to get to Houston, and now the question is, which of these mid-major schools can handle the bright lights? I saw that BroThrow has San Diego State as a 3-point favorite as of today, and that pays even money, of course, since that's on BroThrow. Or you can get them at minus 140 on the money line, which is a bit better than what the books are offering. I think I saw it around minus 155. So that line opened closer to even. Are you surprised that it's moved a couple points already, or was that expected?
I'm not that surprised that it's moved towards San Diego State. You know, San Diego State, they beat Alabama, exactly what you said. That was the #1 overall team in the tournaments. They were looking incredible. So I think a lot of people are just looking at these two teams, may not know a lot about them, and see that San Diego State, they beat Alabama. That's all I need to see. Then you factor in San Diego's top 5 defensive rating in the entire country, plus a coach who has been there for many years, coached under Steve Fisher at the Fab Five in Michigan. You got a lot of reasons that kind of point you to San Diego State. And with a line at only, 1.5, that's essentially just saying, who do you think is going to win the game? So I'm not surprised that a lot of people are early on San Diego State.
No, the only reason I was surprised is because I was so high on Kansas State, and now you've got FAU coming off that win. Kansas State, I know, is only number 21 in Ken Palm, but they had the best player in the entire tournament. I think that's hard to argue, and they had a ton of momentum. They out-rebounded Kansas State. I think it was 44 or 45 to 20.
Yeah, they had an insane rebounding advantage over K-State, and knocking out Marquise Noel. You hit it right on the head. Noel was definitely the best player in all of March Madness this season. I mean, he set a record for the most assists in a single March Madness game, 19 points. And how does he follow that up? Oh, with a 30-point performance at the Garden against FAU.
It was very unexpected for me, and I think a lot of people, although the line should have told us that was going to be an FAU win. But regardless of that line, they also took down Tennessee, and they had a rebounding advantage in that game too. I think Tennessee was a 4.5-point favorite. FAU ended up winning by 7. That was the #1 defense in the country. Going back to what you just mentioned about San Diego State having a top 75 offense and a top 5 defense, do you think it's more important that FAU gets after it on offense and can score on their highly rated D, or do they need to find a way to completely shut down San Diego State's offense and keep them closer to 50 points?
What I've noticed from Florida Atlantic, it really seems like they kind of play their opponent's style. They're willing to play slow, they're willing to play fast, they're willing to body up on D, and they're willing to go with a fast-paced spread offensive game. You know, Tennessee and Kansas State are virtually opposites in their style of play. And Florida Atlantic was able to kind of match both their styles, going slower against Tennessee and going faster against Kansas State. So I think the key is definitely going to be Florida Atlantic being able to get buckets on San Diego State. I'm expecting this game to be a little bit slower paced, played more at San Diego State's tempo. So it's all going to be about Florida Atlantic's efficiency on the offensive side of the ball for me.
When you talk about it being a slower paced game, and if they are going to try and go at slow tempo and make FAU score on them, do you think the under is a good play? Because at this point, I haven't played many over-unders. But if I'm going to play one, this feels like the game to do it. You've got, like I said in the beginning of this video, some serious bright lights on 2 mid-major schools. And it's not that they don't deserve to be here, but how often have they been in these massive stadiums and under these massive stages with all these people? There could be some issues with shooting. There could be nerves. I've just got to feel like this might be the time to take an under.
I mean, we see mid-majors make the Final Four pretty often. But I can't really think of who's made it to the national championship game since Butler back-to-back years with Brad Stevens in early 2010s.
Well, the only team who won was UNLV back in 1990.
Yeah, UNLV was the last mid-major to win the national championship. And one of these two teams will guaranteed have an opportunity to play for that national championship game. Because of that, I really think that both teams are going to be hyper-focused, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Each possession is going to mean more and more on offense. We could potentially be seeing the teams take long time on the shot clock each possession, looking for a great shot. So I really like the under in this game.
In terms of spread, now that we're at that 3-point mark, usually you tell me those low spreads mean you're just betting on the team to win. Do you think that we're now getting into territory where we're betting on the team to lose close, or is this still pick the team who you think is going to win outright?
I still think at 3 points, you're basically just picking who's going to win outright. Because in a 1 or 2 point game, unless the other team is waiting for the last shot, you're likely going to get fouled again with a chance to push and extend that lead further. So I do agree with that 3 and below is basically just an extended money line, in my opinion. Obviously, there's going to be a couple games where you get hooked and it's going to hurt. But for the most part, even if we're hitting at 80, 90% of the time that they either cover or lose, those are great odds to me.
I know I've been riding the dogs a lot lately, but if you look at the consistency that FAU has shown on offense and defense, both being ranked in the top 30, and then you compare it to San Diego State, who's been a little bit choppier on offense, I can have faith in that D, but do I want to trust that they're going to be able to figure it out against a D who's proven it against Tennessee and who's proven it against Kansas State? I don't think so. I think I'm going +3 on FAU for this one.
Yep, I like that pick too. I think I'm going to take the points here as well. It just seems to me in a really close game like this, I'd rather have the points than lay them, especially when I think FAU's got a really good shot to win this game outright.
Well, the books still like San Diego State. They give them +390 odds to win the entire thing. Florida Atlantic's a little bit lower down there at +550, but either way, I'm sticking with my Florida Atlantic pick, and I appreciate your time, Jake. Thanks for giving us some insight.
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys in the next one.